Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of SpeakAF. My name is Rob, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Suz. Suz, how are you today?
If you listen to the last episode, unfortunately, between the hour of that starting and this episode, I am still hungover.
Good.
Yeah,
Nothing's changed.
nothing's changed. If anything, I feel like I got drunk again based on just our conversation from the last episode.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Yeah,
Like, if anything, it's a familiar feeling now for the body, so...
yeah, hair of the dog that bit you. Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
hair of the pseudo goat.
Yeah, the pseudo feeling like a donkey lady kicked me in the head.
That just sounds like a really rude way to say like your wife hit you in bed. You'd be like that donkey lady bitch.
Actually, now that we're talking
Yeah.
about alcohol, actually, again, you've just reminded me of a conversation that I had this weekend with some friends.
Oh God.
So, I don't know how it came up. It was after we'd had a few drinks, quite a few drinks actually, and the conversation came around to the actor Oliver Reed.
Yeah.
He was in Gladiator. It was his final film, and he famously died during the filming
Oh,
of it.
did he? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so he plays the kind of like the slave owner
Okay.
in it, the one that makes him a gladiator, basically.
Right.
But he died during a production break. He had been basically like this chronic alcoholic his entire life, and then he apparently took a break from drinking, and then during this production break, basically like fully fell off the wagon. And he ended up going to a bar in Malta
Yeah.
and drank like 8 pints of beer and like 12 shots of rum.
Oh shit.
And then half a bottle of whiskey.
Fuck.
And then like half a bottle of Hennessy as well. And then ended up arm wrestling sailors from the Royal Navy.
What?
Like 20-something-year-old sailors. The dude was like 61 and then died from a heart attack.
Rob,
So
I think you need to take this as like a warning. Cause that sounds like some you behavior.
yeah, it kind of does. But the point of all
Yeah.
of this, though, was then we had a very in-depth conversation for a lot longer than I'm willing to admit, where we were like, do you think you could drink that much, like, in one setting? Like, we were actually genuinely, like, trying to break it down into, like, alcohol by volume,
Yeah.
percentage, how quickly you'd need to drink it, how much time would you need, and such. So we were trying to like figure out the dynamics of what would be the best balance of alcohol to make that work. Like, how would you break up the number of drinks? Like, would you like have a shot in between pints and stuff
Yeah.
like that, or
Well, is it
So
where did that land? Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of in a minute.
So it landed with two very different schools of thought by the end, where I firmly believed that the way for me to do this would be to start with the spirits
Okay.
and get them into me as quick as possible,
Ooh, okay.
and then just basically spend the rest of the time then going through pints. Like,
Well, that is how the rhyme goes. Like beer before liquor, never been sicker. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear.
yeah, pretty much. Like we pretty much worked it out to it's a liter of spirits,
Ooh,
and then it's 8 pints of beer.
fuck. Well, it's like that scene in the film Constantine, where
Yeah.
his like psychic priest friend drinks himself to death in the liquor store
Oh yeah.
because he like the
Yeah.
demon is making it seem like none of the liquors, like the wine or anything, is like hitting his mouth, but he's actually consuming all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, I think, how it would go for me. But yeah, so that was the one train of thought, and then the other one was basically the opposite then of like start with the beers and then end with the spirits.
You can't do that though.
But we gave ourselves like a 10-hour window to drink all of this. We were like it's a 10-hour window to drink this. Could it be done?
I'm gonna tell you it can't
I feel
be
like
done.
I'd give it a good shot.
I think you
Yeah.
could do pretty well, but I do think that was the first thing that was like we were shown a video when I started at university in Texas for my undergrad, and not University of Texas, just in Texas. It was about it had happened fairly recently at the time. I would have entered in '08. God, that hurts. Anyway,
Let's not think about it.
yeah, let's not think about it. But they showed a video of like a girl who had like the previous year had died at a nearby university in the South. That she had gone to it was a big football, like it was like homecoming or something, right? So it was a big football event. People were tailgating, which if you don't know is like a party out in the car park and all this shit. So she had started drinking early, and so she drank like beer after beer after beer, so she was just kind of pleasantly buzzed during the day, never like particularly
Yeah.
drunk. But then after the game it became like the harder parties at like frat houses and things, and she started doing like back to back to back shots. And so
Okay.
then she was getting like proper hammered. But what she hadn't realized was that she had been drinking just enough like non-alcoholic liquid throughout the day and like low alcoholic liquid, like weak beer, that it had made her, it had like taxed her liver, but not really made her seem super drunk. So then she did a bunch of
Okay.
shots and then like passed out and never woke up again because it had like
Fuck.
her liver was already so saturated that the shots just did her in. So that's why
shit,
you
okay.
have to start with the liquor.
Yeah.
Sorry, that
Yeah.
isn't the message they like ended with, but that's the one I'm ending with.
It's what I'd need though. Like I feel like see the problem that I have is like I'm in my 30s, but as soon as I have a few drinks, my brain switches and I all of a sudden become 21 again mentally, where I'm like I can drink basically any of this.
Yes. Well, I get so worried because you never message me until you're like 10 pints in to be like, I'm 10 pints in.
Yeah, well, it's. I feel like I'd give it a shot. Like,
Oh, you give it several.
yeah, absolutely. And sure, look, we'd see how it goes.
I just don't want you to turn into Andre the Giant.
No, that's fair.
Like,
But at the same time, like, imagine your final day on Earth.
Oh, okay.
Your Wikipedia page saying
he drank.
you arm wrestled like 5 sailors.
See, now
and
that's-
then took a heart attack.
That's what I meant when I said this is Rob behavior. Not like the binge drinking, but like the having the like slightly drunk audacity to think, no, I could fight that guy.
Yeah.
That's so Rob coded.
It would be like a good story to have.
Like the fact that like you and friend of the pod Dara can't come to Texas for so many reasons, but the main one being y'all would say something, like you would just say something to the wrong person because you think you could. You'd have that like Dutch courage in you, and you get shot. like I just you'd put on.
And then you'd have to deal with the fallout of it.
Oh God,
and,
I can't be repatriating bodies in 2026. I can't.
No.
I've got too much other things on.
That's fair. It's not a good year for me.
No. We really need to we need to get some other shit under control, and then maybe we'll talk about it for 2027.
Yeah, we'll loop back in 27.
We'll circle back to all who celebrate. Like, oh, put a pin in it.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. I don't really have much else to really add to that. Yeah, so basically we came down on the conclusion that it could be done, but like you'd be in a bad way afterwards, basically was the conclusion we came to.
Yeah, I mean, it does make me think that, like, so I want to start doing shout outs to people in the podcast, and I know I've said that a couple times and I keep forgetting, but like last week it was at the end and we shouted out to all of our neurodivergent listeners because they are family and friends and we love them and we hope they continue to listen. And so this week's shout out, I think I'm going to go for the type of man who is a totally like normal, lovely human until they get a few pints in them, and they don't turn like psycho or anything like that, but they do really firmly believe they can win a fight with a bear. Like if you are of that specific subset, this shout out's for you. Get your shit together.
What type of bear are we talking about?
See,
here?
I
Are there
fuck,
parameters to this?
Rob, I'm talking to you. The shout outs to you. Like
No, we'll talk about this afterwards. But I think if there's certain like, parameters to the type of bear, I feel like I could do it.
no, Rob, you okay? Well, I'm not saying like a sun bear,
Right. Okay.
and not
fair.
there's like not a red panda, like or even just a regular
I
panda.
didn't even think. I couldn't bring it on myself to fight a red panda. To be fair, I'd never forgive myself.
No, but like you need to know that regardless if it's a brown, black, or polar bear, you are not coming out alive, Rob.
Well, like obviously polar bear, like that's a silly idea. Like,
That's
no one
beyond the
does
pale. Don't like be serious, Susan. Like,
that. Yeah, look, we'll chat
we'll
afterwards.
circle back. So yeah, shout out to the men who believe they can fight bears after a few pints.
Shout out to the bears out there.
Oh my God! Did you know that competition's coming up? We saw it on the window of Panty Bar.
No.
Yeah, so it's Ireland's bear competition, annual bear competition, and they
Phenomenal.
have last year's winner on the poster, and I'm like, that's a bear. That is a
Great stuff. Love
like
that.
just like
I love that
a
for them.
big hairy dude in like a leather harness. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, you know what? Y'all keep yeah. So shout out to the bears, the men who can fight actual or gay bears,
Yeah.
and
Good.
also second shout out to the neurodivergents because we love them. So that's okay. Shout
Yeah.
outs, skippers.
Right, well, I think this might be a good segue to get into today's episode.
Yes.
I don't really know how to intro this. I had a bit of just a weird like week or two where I've just been like browsing Reddit a lot more recently. I don't usually kind of I try to limit the amount I'm on Reddit
Yeah.
just because I get stuck in like a loop of like just going like multiple threads deep of reading stuff.
Oh, I know
and
you
then-
do because you send me the most unhinged shit.
So like that stuff that I send you, that's pretty like the stuff I send you from Reddit is like it's pretty much on my front page. That sort of stuff like that. That's a quick like just browse on Reddit.
That's the above water of the iceberg?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, dog.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I try to limit as much as I can, but
Do you know, I read them out
this
loud
week-
to my husband, and he's constantly like, Sue, stop. Like, I don't need...
I fully-
He's like, I don't need to hear about the angels again. Stop!
yeah. Yeah, like the thing is, those ones I love sending you. For anyone that wants just a good entertaining read, go onto the paranormal subreddit and just read just like actually you don't even need to filter by like top or anything. Just read recent ones.
Yep.
Like
Yep, don't curate that list at all.
it is an experience and I love it. And every once in a while I'll find one, I'll read it, and I'll literally get like 4 or 5 words into it and I'm like, this one needs to go.
Yes. And I start reading it, and I'm like, I know why you sent it to me, and I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
Like,
It's wild, but so on Reddit, and another subreddit that I love, just kind of like dipping my toes in every once in a while, is the High Strangeness subreddit.
oh, I don't know if you've sent much from me from there.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like I can never figure out if the people who comment on it are like sincere in what they're saying or if they're kind of almost like role playing.
Ooh, so is it like a social, like, is this like a weird social experiment, or is this like people genuinely...
I can't tell. So it's like people will post anything from like UFOs through to like ghosts and like kind of everything in between.
Yeah.
And you'll get a bunch of people who will comment on it basically being like, well, this is known fact because X, Y, and Z, and we've seen this, and like to them, this is real.
Right.
And then others then will be like, lol, this is funny, ha ha ha.
Oh.
Basically, like, and we'll debunk it, and then...
So you can't tell where like the barometer of the community is, really?
No, and it's funny, like, because like you'll have all sorts of stuff in there. So you'll have like people talking about like sightings of like angels and shit all the way through to like psychic research and all that. And it's one of those really interesting subreddits that basically anything at all paranormal is posted in it, and people just discuss at length basically. It's an interesting subreddit, and I came across something that I was aware of beforehand, and I say I'm aware of it, and I feel sad that I'm aware of it because I shouldn't be aware of these things. But
I mean,
but here we are.
could just be like looking at the news here lately, though. So
Yeah, well, unfortunately, no. So today we're talking about
God.
the Stargate project.
oh my god, oh my fucking god. Okay. Ooh, right. Hold on. I am psychically and physically like girding myself. Hold on. Like,
Yeah, so
woo.
this was basically the Spark Note version of this. Is this was the CIA's psychic espionage program that they ran during the Cold War.
So is this in the is this the contributor to the cinematic universe that is like Stargate, like the show,
Like, yes and no.
like Stargate Atlantis? Like, am I like I watched that
So
show.
there's another Stargate that I do want to talk about at a future episode that is pretty much pulled straight from Stargate SG-1.
Okay, because I'm like, does this have to do with space? Was it like Star Wars, like Reagan tried to do?
This is more, you know, like The Men Who Stare at Goats. Did you ever see that film
Oh,
or read the book?
Yeah, I've seen the film and it was real weird.
Yeah, that's kind of more where we are today.
Okay, so we're less like nuclear warheads from space, more this.
We're a little bit of that, but it's
There's a little
mostly
bit of
grounded-
that.
just a dash.
Just one warhead.
Yeah. So the project was born out of this kind of unique mixture of Cold War anxieties and then, I suppose, an interest in the limits of human potential.
That sounds like a dangerous combo.
It does. I don't even feel really comfortable reading that.
I like.
but
I feel like you could use that as the starter and then say literally anything.
pretty much, yeah. And look, all I'm going to say is it's not going to get much better from here on out. So
Subtitle of 2026. Let's go.
Yep. So so in the early 1970s, U.S. intelligence agencies became increasingly concerned about reports that the Soviet Union was investing heavily in parapsychological research, including psychic phenomena such as telepathy, psychokinesis, and remote viewing.
Oh my god, this is the wasn't it like an SCP article or a creepypasta, the Russian sleep experiment?
Russian sleep experiment, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'll also say, to say I was aware of this, I definitely was aware of this. I've heard of it before and I'd read about it before.
Yeah.
And then it's been kind of weirdly on my mind recently because I've been thinking about Stranger Things a lot.
Is this similar to like the Nazis like supposed like paranormal weird research interests?
No, and I've said to you before, and maybe I've even said it on the podcast, I'd love to do an episode on that, but I just feel like I'd have to find a delicate balance there of talking about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But this is like but like that sounded more like okay, this is gonna sound insane. Like that to me, from what I like the like kind of shallow understanding I have of like that kind of that Nazi dimension is oh god, what a terrible dimension. Sorry, is that it was more like almost occulty, whereas this sounds more quote unquote like pseudoscientific kind of.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No, this is not a cult based. This is like scientific.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so basically, the U.S. intelligence agencies, mostly the CIA, had received estimates that suggested that the Soviets were spending tens of millions of rubles annually on what they called psychotronic research, with the aim, and the aim of it was basically developing unconventional methods for espionage and warfare.
Psychotronic.
They basically, so they basically perceived this as like a gap in their arsenal against them.
Okay.
And it pretty much prompted the US to initiate its own investigations, not only to assess the potential threat, but also to explore whether psychic abilities could be harnessed for their own intelligence agencies and for the collection of intelligence and that lovely term of national security.
I feel like Psychotronic is like also the name of like a Daft Punk album. Like
It honestly could be. Like,
so
yeah.
so it really was like the US looked at Russia or the USSR and was like, okay, cool. They're gonna wear low-rise jeans, so we kind of have to wear low-rise jeans, or else
Pretty much.
we're gonna be behind the trend.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much exactly what this is. So
Yeah, okay.
I suppose prior to the formal, establishment of this, like government-sponsored program, there was kind of a weird tradition in the States of parapsychological research, kind of dating back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
Yeah, we touched on this when we talked about seances and spiritualism, right?
We did, yeah. So I'm not going to touch on this too much because effectively a lot of the people that researched this were just mad racists.
I mean, that could be said about just so much.
Yeah, but there was one figure, a notable figure, Dr. J.B. Ryan at Duke University.
Okay, that's a legit school.
And he conducted experiments on what he called extrasensory perception, or ESP.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to note that because I will be talking about ESP. But he basically devised this method of using like statistical methods and like basically ways of analyzing people's kind of like psychological or psychic kind of ability by using like statistics and things like that.
Okay.
But the hilarious thing that I saw basically discrediting all of this, that was a note that I'm going to quote directly. However, these early efforts were largely academic and didn't focus on the practical intelligence applications.
What a fucking brilliant statement.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
He's like, yeah, but my interest in the paranormal is purely academic. It's for the publish or perish model. I've got to get my journal articles in, keep my H index up. Like,
Yep.
also, I
Yep.
know that I just
It's
threw out some hardcore academics like lingo. So sorry to the.
we're taking a mixed methods approach to psychic research.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy the real exploration of what qualitative data can add to this. Like, oh god.
I feel like the brain explosions really do add a certain element of qualitative data that you just can't capture.
Like I used like this is what's really cool is that I actually used the audible like the recording of the brain exploding and
Yeah.
like layered that over what some of the quantitative data was saying and then used it in a musical composition, so really I'm doing interdisciplinary research.
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay. It's so funny. Like, I think the listeners all need to have a button that just says stop, and like we somehow know that they've hit it.
I feel like
Stop.
we've really that tangent of joke right there. That was a niche joke that a very, very, very few of our listeners are going to appreciate. But the ones that do get it, I think they'll like it.
I think they'll really be like, oh wow, this podcast really speaks to me and me alone.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we want to do with the shout outs. Would be like, okay, no, this audience. So we want that one listener to be like, oh, it's me.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that's research funders and researchers.
Yeah, exactly. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
We should put a trigger warning in for researchers.
Yeah, I will mention a H index. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, so this we're talking today about Stargate basically, but it had a number of other names all throughout its life cycle, but it's effectively the same program.
Okay.
So each one of these projects, I suppose, were kind of it's a culmination of a series of related programs that kind of become Stargate. So it kind of started in 1970, run by the CIA, and it was called Scanate. And it was basically like them looking at the Soviet activities. Then it kind of, in the earlier 70s, then it kind of moves into more of a kind of different research. There's then the army gets involved in kind of the mid to late 70s. So it's like joint army CIA sort of stuff.
Does this have anything to do with MK Ultra?
It does.
Okay.
It does, yeah.
I'm trying to build my my American like government thing, like cinematic universe here.
Yeah, yeah, and then the DIA got involved.
Oh
then,
shit! Okay.
With Project Sunstreak is what it was called. And,
Incredible.
Yeah, a great name actually, to be fair. And then yeah, it ultimately becomes Stargate. So yeah, it's kind of well, we will get into timelines and things, but yeah, just to say that there's a few different project names for it. But yeah, it's an interesting one. So I suppose there's a number of different agencies that were involved in this that I'll be briefly talking about today. So the main I suppose people involved, or main three-letter agencies and more, are the CIA, as I said, the DIA, and then there was also a group called INSCOM, which they basically they were kind of more of an army-focused one.
Okay.
Congress also received reports on this.
Of course they did.
And then also the Stanford Research Institute was involved in this.
Oh no.
They kind of conducted research and developed methodologies.
Was it in prison? Because we know how that went.
Not really,
Okay.
thankfully. And then there was a few others then, the American Institute for Research, and then the Science Applications International Corporation.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's definitely a few in there, but yeah, so that's kind of where we are. So as I said, that's the agencies. The research itself then was conducted in the Stanford Research Institute in California, Fort Meade in Maryland, and then there was various other sites in California, New York, a lot actually in California. But yeah, those are the kind of the main hitters. So it's kind of difficult to give really a definitive timeline on the start of this right through to the end, because it's just such a weird project that instead I'm just gonna go through some of the people involved, some of the research that they did, and by the end of it maybe we'll have some sort of a cohesive view of what Stargate was.
Whew, I am nervous.
Yeah, so Yeah, it's a weird one. So we're basically we're going to talk about the key researchers that were involved in all of this, and we'll go from there. So the first, I suppose, two heavy hitters in this are two physicists called Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff.
Okay. That sounds made
Yeah,
up,
so
but
they were
okay.
yeah, I know. They were instrumental in launching the government's remote viewing research at the
Oh.
Stanford Research Institute.
Oh shit.
So they did early experiments with various subjects. Notably, one of them was called Ingo Swann.
Okay.
Great name,
Great name.
but also someone that you'll probably be familiar with, Uri Geller.
Oh, yeah.
So they basically developed, or they tried to find people who had. They were conducting what they called remote viewing experiments, and it's defined basically as the acquisition and description by mental means of information blocked from ordinary perception by distance, shielding, or time.
Are we talking about
Effectively, what?
biolocating?
No, it's not. It's kind of effectively the ability to switch off your mind effectively and using like psychic energy to basically like project your mind somewhere else.
Okay.
To literally like look at like a subject or like a person or something you're trying to find effectively.
In the black tapes, is this the like that guy Tanis Braun that could?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
That
Cool. Cool.
exact
Cool.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a very interesting process, and it was basically where they would try to effectively induce kind of this relaxed meditative state with the participants in the studies, and they'd get them to describe things in, say, like the room next door, for example.
Yeah.
And it was quite interesting in that sense. Like they were really trying to take like a scientific approach to this, to look at like, well, how can we do it? Like, does this work? And things like that. And they developed kind of like scoring and evaluation matrices and things like that.
Yeah.
So they did really try to like science up the like paranormal effectively.
I mean, they tried to make it like replicable and all that. I imagine.
They did, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah. So it was an interesting one in that sense of like they really did try to like, I suppose, bring like legitimate research into this. Whether or not it actually worked is another thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like they did, there was, at least in the early days, there was a legitimate like attempt to like actually bring like proper like scientific methods to what they were doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's obviously more scientific-ish than a lot of the other stuff we've like. I mean, way more scientific than like ectoplasm at a seance.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like it's like it is definitely a lot more than that. Like it's they've definitely like they've tried to like really legitimize like what they're going through here. So no, like it's definitely a lot more than that. Like there's a lot more to it than that.
And it sounds like they're doing it in a way that like skeptics would approve of. Like this is how you properly debunk something.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So it's really kind of like it's one of those things where it's almost like commendable that they tried to
Yeah.
like yeah, it's a funny one. Like it's a strange one. So but I think overall there was an assumption in this that they went into this firmly believing that these things, like there is potential for this to exist, basically.
Okay.
And that's the difference. Like they were going into it, I suppose, potentially skeptical, but like there was generally a belief that like these kind of like psychic phenomena are real, basically.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going in being like, I am open to this like plan that potentially we get positive results.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this group of people did what they called remote viewing. So the subjects would basically claim to visualize the scene at a point beyond their field of vision.
Yep.
And in many cases, it was in a remote part of the world, typically not known to them by actual experience. So the CIA has actually published like a document on this as part of an FOI request. They've disclosed it. So I'll just quote directly from one of their documents where
Oh, okay.
they said, the implication of success in remote viewing, if it exists, are revolutionary, since, as described to the review team, it is manifestly incompatible with currently accepted scientific principles. Remote viewing of future events or precognition evidently violates casualty, i.e. real-time remote viewing, clearly requires a transmission mechanism other than a known process. So they're effectively talking about how, like, they're like, no, there's a potential for us to look at stuff that's currently happening, but that whole, like, being able to see the future shit, no, that's bullshit. That's made up.
Okay, it's like, all right, look, we all have to accept this, but like...
Yeah, exactly. So the CIA is kind of stating this, and they were kind of trying to effectively use this as a means of spying on the Soviets, basically, that they would be able to look into, say, like the Kremlin and like look at secret meetings that could be happening, or look at stuff that's on people's desks and things like that.
Do you know they didn't need to do these experiments? They just needed to find those fuckers that are excellent at GeoGuessr. Because, like, they can be like, oh my god, I know what highway we're on in Bhutan. like you could have been like, be in the third floor men's room in the Kremlin, and they're like, oh yeah, they're like, I know what the carpet looks like, I know what Putin's like underwear looks like, boom 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 boom. Like,
yeah, it's kind of actually, those people themselves are paranormal. I fully believe, like.
Oh, there's like a great, I'll send them to you. There's a great series of shorts where they're like what it's like playing with a GeoGuessr expert. And he's standing there, he's like, oh my god, I think I'm gonna come. It's like undisclosed content. Like it's like a part of China they're not supposed to have data on or something. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Did I just break you? I'm sorry.
I'm like...
It's because you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
They're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Of course we're on Christmas Island. Look at the grass.
It's the people who find the knowledge of grass. That one to me is just wild, because I'm like, they look at grass and they're like, well, no, that's clearly this type of grass, and like,
oh yeah,
that only grows in this specific area of the world, obviously. So
we're on the east side of North Sentinel Island. How can you not see that? Like, I don't know.
It's mad to me. Like, it's just like, yeah, those people deserve an episode of this podcast, actually. Because
yes, we're gonna dive into the heady world of being an expert in GeoGuessr, because I think it's related to this phenomenon.
It's paranormal as fuck, is what it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's and like they do it with such certainty as well that I'm like, there has to be something to this. Like,
I think they're being, you know how they in Britain they did those like during World War II, they sent out those puzzles in the newspapers to find people who were like good at code cracking. I think it's like, I think the CIA has created GeoGuessr, and those people are going to be recruited.
I'm 100% on board with this.
Oh yeah, that's my headcanon.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yep. Like, I respect that.
So sorry, segue, but that is exactly what this reminds me of.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So throughout the 70s, they were investigating, as I said, this remote viewing. Uri Geller, who is a problematic person, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
To say the least. He was involved in this. He famously bent spoons using his mind, but he was involved in this at an early point where he was allegedly recruited to take part in like remote viewing sessions, and claims that he was quite successful in it.
Yeah, but we also have to remember that this is a generation of humans with so much lead and heavy metal in their bodies that like maybe bending spoons isn't beyond the pale.
Yeah.
Like, it's
True,
just
actually.
it's just magnetism at work.
Yeah. It's in anyway.
Yep.
We can talk about that on another episode. So Uri Geller was involved in this, but at one point there was basically someone was sent from the Department of Defense. He was a psychologist called Ray Hyman. He was a professor of psychology at the University of Oregon.
Okay.
And he was asked by the Air Force to basically go and look at this this study that was being done, the remote viewing, and to investigate them. And he was actually specifically asked to evaluate Geller, who, to be fair, he's an Israeli citizen, so they may have felt a bit strange about having, an Israeli involved in it or something. I'm not quite sure why he's asked to like investigate him in particular.
Right.
But the report that Hyman developed from all of this, he said that Uri Geller was a complete fraud.
He did.
And as a result of his report, the initial investigators, Tarek and Puthoff, they actually lost their government contract to work further with them. And yeah, basically Geller was like kicked off, like booted off the program. So he decided.
So I was just gonna say he's like that was a hymen he couldn't break.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Basically the result was a publicity tour for Geller, Targ, and Putoff, where they basically traveled around America showing how like Uri Geller was psychic and could bend spoons, to basically try to get private funding to allegedly further their research on Geller in particular.
What's that like Jane Austen line of like a reverend who must praise himself has a congregation of one? I feel like if you have to do a press tour about your skills, they are not real. You're already losing.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. So that kind of like killed the remote viewing start to it. There was one notable point though about it, and this is actually genuinely put down as a success of the remote viewing project by the CIA. They legitimately 100% claim that they did have a success in all of this, in that an investigator that they had there, her name was Rosemary Smith.
Okay.
She was an administrative assistant initially on the program, but at some point basically it was determined that she may have psychic abilities.
Oh, okay.
And she was apparently instrumental in the psychic location of a lost Soviet spy plane in 1976, where she apparently conducted in some form of remote viewing and was able to pinpoint where this plane had crashed.
Oh.
And they were able to go there and find it.
What? That just tells me that she was involved in crashing it.
Yeah, like it's wild to me where like, and it's this thing where they're just like, yeah, this is a success. Like, yeah, we found it.
like, I mean, it is a case of like, God forbid a woman have hobbies, but
it's true. Like, had she been around a few hundred years prior, she was a witch.
Oh yeah, that woman would have been burnt and become the donkey lady in San Antonio.
Yeah, 100%. Like, she's not surviving that.
No.
Yeah, so they claimed that they basically were that this is a success of the program, that they were able to find a downed Soviet plane and were able to go recover it effectively.
Yeah,
which to me is wild.
Yeah,
that they've actually put this in like an actual report.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I heard a news pundit say like that they like their kind of beat is that they do like congressional updates. And they literally said, they got asked a question like, so what are next steps from here? I think this was about the Department of Homeland Security shutdown. And she said, honestly, anything could happen.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, so like, yeah, sure, I guess, yeah, Congress did include it. Like, yeah, I that seems real. Everything's fine now. So, like, that's the world we live in. Anything can happen in the congressional world, so.
That is...
I know, it's unsettling. She looked so tired. She was like, honestly, anything could happen. And I was like, oh, Lisa Desjardins, like, are you okay?
It's yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so that is one of those ones that they're like, yeah, no, this happened, 100%. This happened, and we're happy to put this in a report and say that psychic research located this crashed plane.
All right. And they didn't offer any so the full explanation was that did they not interrogate her skills and try and reproduce them or anything? Or was it just
so allegedly there was also success in finding Soviet submarines as well, but I don't know if she was involved in it. But
well, my next question is, how accurate was she? Was she just Pacific Ocean?
Well, so this is the thing, it doesn't actually go into that much detail about the exact steps that were taken to do this, but it does claim that she did, they basically credited her with finding a downed Soviet plane.
Oh my God, now I just have this image of her on a boat with a bunch of CIA officials, and she's just going warmer, nope, colder, as they turn the boat. She's out there for months just going over the North Atlantic
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a game of Minesweeper.
Yeah. She's like, no, we've already been here.
Then,
colder. Left.
Put a flag down here. We'll come back. But yeah, so they also then had another person, a former police officer called Pat Price, and he was allegedly incredibly good at describing distant locations with startling detail.
Okay. GeoGuessr?
In one of his early, yeah, basically, in one of his early tests, he described a secret NSA facility in West Virginia,
Ooh.
a place that he obviously had never visited, and he apparently described it with uncanny detail. So much so that he was able to effectively draw blueprints of the room that he was in.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And it was apparently like almost 100% accurate.
Fuck.
With that. So this apparently was enough to actually convince the CIA to keep funding flowing from it.
Okay.
So the project then moved into, as I said, then the army got involved with CIA collaboration, and they just had some wild names for the project to kind of like keep it up to date. So the initial one was Scan8, which literally meant just scan by coordinate, effectively. Like, we're giving them coordinates, go look at that place in the world.
Yep.
Then the names changed, and the only way I can describe them is they sound like something from a pulp sci-fi novel.
Okay.
So initially we had Project Grill Flame.
Okay.
Which was when the army got involved.
That just sounds like something like a project that's happening for a new burger at Burger King.
It does, yeah. Then it switched into Project Center Lane.
Okay.
Then Project Sun Street.
Oh god, yeah.
And then finally Project Stargate.
Oh my god, they just hired like the most D&D nerds to like undertake this.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically they tried to bring in as many what they called remote viewers as they could, and they became like known by these different kind of like characteristics. So some described themselves as natural psychics.
Right.
Some were described as soldiers trained in mental discipline. So basically, let's get some soldiers and teach them to be psychic.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. And then some were basically people who scored well on perceptual tests. So there was kind of the thinking here of, well, if these people are just particularly perceptive, are they potentially like coming to conclusions about certain things that are just like statistically they could be correct?
Okay, I need to push a little bit on the army element here, because if a soldier held a gun to my head and said, "You're thinking about tacos," guess what? I'm thinking about tacos.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That doesn't make them psychic.
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. It is wild. Like it is a very strange thing.
But the latter bit sounds like essentially the plot of that show, The Mentalist, or
kind of.
But then,
and I think that's kind of like where they were like, there was that such like focus on statistics in the early days that I feel like it's kind of lingered a bit, where they were like, no, statistically it makes sense that someone would be in X location, and in that, because it's like a US government facility, there's gonna be like this and this in the room that they're in. So I think that's kind of where they were going with it, that they're like statistical observations basically.
Okay, because it's also like there was that show Lie to Me that essentially like everybody thought like they were human lie detectors, because they were just like off the charts perceptive and could read like micro emotions and things.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what some of them were thinking, that this is all this actually is basically. Yeah, so it's a really weird one, but basically, so the project kind of like limped along for a little bit in the 80s, where they talked about how that they basically continued this psychic research and all that sort of stuff. One thing though from the 80s, which I know you're just gonna absolutely love, was that at some point during the hostage crisis in Iran,
oh my god,
the project basically saw an opportunity to help the government, and they decided to send their remote viewers, remotely obviously, to help locate the American captives. And they basically somehow managed to get a report all the way to Jimmy Carter, who was the president at the time. Like, in the briefing room, pretty much he received a report that psychics had basically told them where the American hostages were being held in the embassy.
Rob.
Yeah. So allegedly some of the descriptions matched later accounts, and then other descriptions were, as I saw quoted, wildly inaccurate.
I don't have enough coffee or ibuprofen or water in my system for this.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. And the funny thing about all of this, and I feel like you're really gonna resonate with this one.
Okay.
So even though the research itself was flawed, the researchers basically managed to pivot that into, well, yeah, they may have been wrong about the geography of where they were located in the building. However, they were correct in describing their emotional state very accurately as being fearful or calm or potentially injured. So there is viability still in the research.
They're just cold reading from a distance. They're like, yeah, the hostage is really concerned about the situation.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I sensed an injury to the left hip. No, elbow.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love this so much.
I knew you'd love that. And then the remote viewers then, to basically like prove, it seemed to be like one final like death gasp before the project was gonna be closed down.
Yeah.
They gave one viewer an envelope with sealed coordinates.
Oh god.
And they asked him to view it. And he proceeded to describe a barren landscape with towering structures and a sense of what he described as ancient presence.
Oh my god.
Would you like to know where the coordinates were revealed to be?
I mean, it could go many ways, but my first thought was, oh my god, is he in like under the earth where like the Pleiadians live or whatever that we've talked about?
It's even better than that.
Oh my god. Okay, where is it? Easter Island?
He claimed this coordinates claim to be on the surface of Mars.
Oh my god. Thank you. And look, wait, now you have to finish it being like, and that was Elon Musk's grandfather. The surface of Mars.
It is wild.
So were those the correct coordinates?
Apparently they were, yeah. But like he claimed to have been basically like standing on the surface of Mars doing a remote viewing session, and that he claimed that there was like life effectively on the planet.
So we, like, America can already lay claim to like first boots on Mars. It was just like
on Mars,
but it was like
boots.
A COVID remote worker doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just mad.
Excellent. I love this.
Then the final two, I suppose, big cases that get talked about. A remote viewer described a new class of Soviet submarine that was under construction.
Okay.
He sketched it out, and basically he drew what was described as a double hull design, and basically was immediately kind of being told like that's bullshit. They don't do submarines like that.
Yeah.
But apparently months later, then satellite imagery actually confirmed it. So they were like, "See, we can fucking see this shit as well," which is just an interesting one.
Right.
And then finally, the project then, just to add a bit of conspiracy into this, the guy that I talked about, Pat Price, the former police officer,
yeah,
he died suddenly in 1975 under what I saw described as circumstances that remain debated.
Ooh, I love that.
So read into that however you want. And some people have said that they think that foreign intelligence agencies became aware of him being a powerful psychic, and they sent people to kill him.
Do you think they did it on like a just-in-case basis? I mean, like, this probably isn't true, but just in case?
I don't know, but when I read that initially, I just pictured that episode of South Park where Cartman develops psychic powers and then gets in the psychic battle in his living room.
Yes. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So yeah, it is wild. So then by the late 80s, the Cold War was starting to kind of wrap up.
Yeah, cool off. Or no, war.
Yeah,
oh no. Yeah. Anyway.
Budgets were tightening, skepticism grew, like the Apollo missions were all cancelled, all that sort of stuff, like stuff was happening. Remote viewers continued their work, but the intelligence community pretty much struggled with the fundamental problem of how do you evaluate information that can't be independently verified after the fact.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
That's it.
Yeah. So basically, some of the sessions that they had were apparently like astonishingly accurate. Others were absolute shite. And the intelligence agencies pretty much came down on, this is too inconsistent for us to actually like viably use.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 1995, the CIA commissioned an external review of the project.
Yep.
And the conclusion ultimately said that remote viewing had produced occasional hits.
Right.
However, it hadn't generated actionable intelligence reliably, and it could not be justified as a primary collection method, and thus they concluded that the program should just be shut down.
Oh, Jesus. I mean,
So
Yeah.
in a fun kind of pivot, the CIA completely agreed with this, and they're like, yeah, you know what? Actually, 100% we agree with you. And not only do we agree with you, let's just declassify everything we have on this and just release it to the public.
Because it's all shite.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
So so officially Project Stargate closed in 1995, but just, because this is what this podcast is, unofficially,
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yes, please.
some have claimed that the project was formally closed down to allow a shadow project to be opened that has the actual research still going on, and that the government is still currently running a classified psychic program where the abilities basically are now properly understood, and that the government continues now to fund a secret program where soldiers and civilians basically remote view from like secret government locations to help them find intelligence assets and things like that. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I kind of hope this is what's happening with the Buffy reboot that got canceled, that there's actually like a shadow reboot that's informally going on behind the scenes. So like,
yeah, pretty much. I will say, while this was going on, like the Soviet Union had they did have their own psychic research program, and also so did the Chinese. So it's not just the Americans.
I just think that like
they
imagine how many
the Soviets pursued, they called it biocommunications, psychotronics, and bioenergetics.
Oh no, okay. Now bioenergetics sounds like some bitch on Instagram who's like, I'm fully trained in bioenergetics.
Oh my god, it does.
Yeah. I need like all of us to think about what wasn't being funded because this was like AIDS research.
Oh yeah.
Vaccine research.
I completely agree.
Like, even just like fixing a goddamn pothole that's killed 20 people, like in a town.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not being filled in because we are too busy remote viewing.
Yep. It is wild to me that they funded this for so long. And I have some quotes right at the end that are here, actually, which I really like.
Okay.
So Hyman, the guy who's kind of come in a few times and kind of closed shit down.
Yeah.
He came to the conclusion of psychologists such as myself who study subjective validation find nothing striking or surprising in the reported matching of reports against targets in the Stargate data. The overwhelming amount of data generated by the viewers is vague, general, and way off target. The few apparent hits are just what we would expect if nothing other than reasonable guessing and subjective validation are operating.
That's what like my feedback on like the math part of my SAT said.
Yeah, basically they found professional guessers.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's it, really.
Yeah.
Like, it's allegedly closed down, but people still say it's still running in the background.
This sounds a bit like a news article that your mom gets that's like, have you developed remote viewing skills, like other reasons why you might have long COVID?
Oh my god.
Like, I don't know, it just sounds like something that would appear in that.
Yeah. It's wild to me. And that guy Ingo Swann that I talked about originally, like, the dude is problematic in the sense of he basically, he's a former like stage 7 Scientologist.
Oh, what does that even mean? What's like?
Yeah, and he he claims to be the one who came up with the term remote viewing. And
is stage 7 the level where you know where Shelley is?
I think it might be.
Okay.
Yeah. And he claimed to be able to, what he described as breaking free from the conventional mold of casual experimentation. Whatever the fuck that means.
That sounds like a guy who's just like getting into kink.
I agree.
Like
100% agree.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I'm moving beyond casual experimentation into a more formalized dom substructure with Ireland's next like #1 bear. Like, tell me that's not the like the Field or Hinge profile.
100% is. I have no notes. I actually think that's a really good conclusion to this episode.
We're back to bears.
We're back to bears, and look, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's where we are. It's allegedly closed down,
but also allegedly not. Like.
Yeah, and that's it. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this.
I've been bewildered. I've been like I've rolled my eyes so hard the stems snapped, so my eyeballs are just floating around freely.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
So
I'd expect no less.
that was great. I love a bit of deep government conspiracy.
For sure, especially on a Sunday morning. It's just a lovely thing. So
Yep.
yeah. I hope all of you listening to this have enjoyed it as well. You can let us know your thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
On social media, you can get us on Threads and Instagram at the Spooky AF Pod, or you can get us at Gmail at the Spooky AF Podcast at gmail.com. As I said, I would love to really know your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. With that said, I hope you're having a lovely day whenever it is you listen to this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.
Stay well. Bye.